Good afternoon. It's another week and of course a brand new edition of your current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. It's always a delight to know that you'll be spending your 60 minutes with me today on the program. My name is Ego Sagmalao. I have very distinguished personalities with me today to dissect this wonderful national topic. It's interesting, it promises to be educative, and of course, enlightening. I have with us Dr. Emeka Ekuga, a clergyman, and of course, a very renowned analyst. Nice to have you today.
Thank you, Agbola. Nigeria is well with you.
Okay, we also have in the studio a very distinguished educationist, a school proprietor as well, who has made name in the education sector, Ben Osunde. Nice to have you with us today.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Yes. It's always a delight to have a very distinguished guest because the topic we are looking at today has to do with education. Education as a tool for national development. Now, part of the reason why we have insurgency in the Northeast is that there is a sect kicking against education. They don't want education. And it is believed that education is a tool, a required prerequisite to the development of any nation. It is also believed that the spate of insecurity can be quelled with education. If the citizens are educated, are enlightened, you can't push them around. You can't indoctrinate them, and you can't make them do things that are negative, that negates the interest of their country. That's the background, and you need to understand this topic before my analyst will actually dissect it further. We're going to start with an educationist in our midst today, Ben Osunde. Now, Ben Osunde, looking at this topic, education, a tool for national development. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a very critical tool as far as development is concerned.
Yes.
There is no nation that can actually develop if education is not given a priority.
Okay.
So it's something that every nation must put into consideration and ensure that every citizen, not even a fraction of the citizen, every citizen should be carried along in this concept. What is education? Education is all about training individuals. You train them to become useful to themselves and to the entire society at large.
Okay.
So when you fail to train individual, you fail to train the citizen, inhabitants of a particular nation or whatever, what do you expect that nation to become? So to become something else, they need to be trained to be useful to themselves and to be useful to the society. That's the concept of education.
Okay.
And when you talk about development, development is all about ensuring that a nation or a society is able to provide all sorts of livelihood for itself.
Okay.
Take into premium, you take into premium the issue of poverty alleviation, provision of food, provision of clothing and shelter and all. So a developed nation is that nation that is able to be self-sustained on its own. In the area of, like what I said now, if you are self-sustained, you should be able to provide food for your citizens.
Okay.
You should be able to provide clothing for your citizens. You should be able to provide clothing for your citizens. And you should ensure also that the citizens are balanced and they are okay within the system.
Yeah.
So when education is not really there as a tool, there is no way a nation or any society can be developed. So the two they go in pari passu.
Okay.
So education and development. So any country that fails to see education as a critical tool is bound to fail, and such a country will not develop.
Okay, I'm going to ask you more in terms of investment in education.
Yeah.
Is the federal government and state governments, local governments doing the needful in terms of promoting education?
Well, the three of them, they have to work together because it's a tripartite affair.
Okay.
The state government, the federal government, and the local government, they must work hand in hand together to ensure that education is properly funded. Well, to the best of my ability, let's use Nigeria as our country now.
Yes.
The best of my ability, they are trying, but they need to do more. To me, the fund allocated to education sector, the educational sector, is not really okay.
Okay.
Because if you have to look at a UNESCO standard, about 26% is supposed to be of budgetary allocation or to go to education and all. But what we keep seeing here in Nigeria, you see 12%, 11. I think the highest has been 13% or whatever and all. So the funding, as far as education is concerned, is not to the best of the interest of our country. Okay. Of course, we have seen a lot of issues emanating from ASU strike, here and there, strike in the public schools, here and there and all. It's because if you look at all these struggles here and there, they are all as a result of poor funding. So if education is actually to be given a priority, it has to be funded properly.
Okay, I agree with you. We'll come back to you. Dr. Emeka, now what's your take on this? Education as a tool for national development.
Let me use this one word first.
Okay.
When you are not informed, you will be deformed.
That's terrible. That's a very wonderful quote, Dr. Emeka.
When you don't take education as the first priority, there is no way a nation can be developed.
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate that today the government pay attention to things that is not relevant. We talk about security today, insurgency here and there. The reason is because they are not informed. But let me talk to you as a person.
Yes.
You are here today. You've enlightened so many people, the nation and beyond. It's because you are enlightened.
Yeah, I agree.
It's because you are informed.
Yeah.
I remember when you told me you did your youth service in the north, and it was then. And I still keep saying, if you did a youth service in the north, and today, most of the north side of the nation is not taking education serious. And I wondered why. And that is why you see the insurgencies and the securities, becoming a thing of no issue today. So I want to quickly say that education can never be set aside in any nation in order to get development. If you don't value education, you can never be able to do anything that is important. You cannot be able to develop a nation. You cannot be able to make people within the environment of the nation to become somebody in life. Education is number one. Above every other thing you can do. The other day I watched the president went for a summit outside the nation, Nigeria. And it was all based on education.
Yeah, in the UK.
In UK.
Yeah.
And I saw things I read in the social media. The truth remains, if the president is not enlightened and is going for such program, a such summit, he cannot be able to fix things right.
Yeah. So because the president is enlightened, that's why he attended that program. He saw the importance.
Attend such a program,
yes.
And that's why he is able to make one impact or the other in that summit.
Yes.
Education is number one.
I agree with you. Okay, because you've already informed our viewer, I actually served the nation in Katsina State as a teacher, talking about my NYSC program. And I taught in College of Arabic and Islamic Studies. College of Arabic and Islamic Studies. And it was a boarding school where we taught young Northerners, we educated them. And they loved us. I don't know what is happening now. I'm talking about 20 years ago when I did that. I believe that education is very pivotal to the development of any nation. And education must be encouraged in all nooks and crannies of the country. Okay, we'll come back to Ben Osunde. Now, you mentioned something in your opening remarks. And some persons, there was a time in this state, we must commend Governor Godwin Obaseki, who actually brought to the fore that there's need for enlightened leaders. But there was a time in this state, some persons were now believing that Agberuism, and that's in the local palace, that being a tout, when you can fight, when you can disturb the public, in local palace they are called Agberus. A time came, that kind of trend was promoted. People believe that, what's education for? You're a street fighter, you become rich, But this Governor Godwin Obaseki, has entrenched that philosophy of the need for enlightened leaders. So, don't you think that this issue of destruction in education must be stopped, and encouraging of street fighters and Agberuism must be stopped.
Yes.
Two things now.
Yes. One of the veritable aspect of education is manpower development.
Okay.
When you develop a manpower, people that will kind of serve the nation.
Yes.
And will be effectively trained. That's good manpower. So by the time you try to set that aside and believe that people can always come on board from nowhere, whether they are trained or they are not trained, they will handle leadership position, be in government, seize power unnecessarily or whatever, it will not go away with such a state or rather a nation. So people must be developed, and education is that too. So anybody that is in government or that is being employed by a government agency that is not properly educated will not be able to run the system properly. Okay. And people will be misled. Children will be misled and all. During that period that such a thing happened in this state, we are all aware of when it happened and the particular administration that brought that in and all. We saw a lot of a sharp drop in those that are embracing education, children, school registration and all. The belief was that education is no longer necessary, it's not a scam. So if those that are Agberos are not giving position of authority, they are not giving you opportunity to make money, amass wealth for themselves and all, why would they go and be spending a lot of years in primary, secondary, and rather university education, which is not really easy for them and all? So it became another issue and all. So I will encourage our government, whether at the local level, state level, or at the federal level, they should see education as a tool to actually give us the desired manpower that we need. People that will run the affairs of the state, of the local council, of the federation, people that are enlightened, people that are knowledgeable, and education is the only tool. It should not be relegated to the lowest level. It's not very important.
To the background.
Yeah, to the background, and don't also forget that during that period of that reign, we saw a lot of things that happened. There were a lot of tension in the system. There were a lot of troubles here and there, and a lot of things actually happened and all. But this system we have seen today now has been able to bring calmness and all. Because this particular one is enlightened, and they're going to bring people on board that are also enlightened and all, you can see how the system is running smoothly and all. That tells you the power of education. So education has actually helped, and we have to see it as a tool for manpower development. For any society, any system to grow to that level that will be envy of other nations or whatever, must see education as a critical tool. That is my submission on this.
Okay. We'll come back to you. Dr. Meka, yes.
Yeah. Let me just add a little from what you have just said. I want to thank God for Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, not because he has worked before he come into the system.
Okay.
He's educated. And that is what makes difference. I want to say this very clear. A blind man cannot lead a blind man. Both of them will fall into the dish.
Okay.
And the only thing that makes Edo State have a future after Governor Godwin Obaseki finally leave the governance from Osadebe Avenue as a governor of Edo State, whomever is coming in will borrow from that, is because he was able to acquire education. It's quite unfortunate that a lot of people don't take to this. Now, when you talk about the Aboris in those days, you will be able to discover that there was no peace in the land. Insecurity was
heightened.
Oh my God, of the other side of it.
Yes.
And those who acquire money from that angle, you also agree with me that it didn't last. And it's not lasting again. I wouldn't quote, but if you look down the trend, you will be able to discover that, yes, those who were able to acquire 1 naira, 2 naira, 3 naira, as of that time, they never make a proper use of it. Because you can't give what you don't have. There's no way you succeed in business. There's no way you succeed in, even if you're a farmer. You can't farm well if you don't have knowledge. And you can't acquire knowledge until you are taught. And you cannot be taught until there is a teacher. And when you talk of education, you will involve this angle.
Okay.
Because they were not taught, they did not acquire this knowledge, everything they did as of today is on the standstill. But thank God for the governor, and thank God for people like Mr. Ben, who has been on ground to make sure that the little, the average, they are educated. The gain is that by tomorrow, Nigeria will be a better society. So I want to quickly say, the only way this country can survive is for the government to invest in education.
Okay.
No matter whatsoever you want to do, first and foremost, take education as your first project, and you will see things work out.
Okay. There's one problem. Ben, you need to comment on this. Brain drain.
Yeah.
So many professionals, we understand they are leaving the shores of this country to other countries. And the education they've acquired in Nigeria, they're taking it overseas. You understand?
Yeah.
How can we stop brain drain?
Well,
Or brain drain, rather.
Yeah, yeah. We have a lot of scholars who have passed through the 4 walls of our universities here.
Yes.
They started their education here in this country, but see what is now happening now, where people who are not educated are celebrated more than those that are educated. If I may ask, what's the salary of a professor? If I may ask, and what's the salary of a politician who just passed through secondary school, maybe at most had an NCE? Then decide to go into politics. Now compare the salary of a politician and that of a professor. Compare the salary of, let's say, the one we use just now, Agberu, yes. What they are earning on daily basis, and compare it with the salary of a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. You discover that it's a far cry, and there's no balance there. And those people who are educated are expected to be kind of more to be motivated, rather than those people who are less educated. I'm not saying that those that are less educated should not earn a living or whatever I know. But these people, they have used a lot of money to get trained, and their level of expectation is so high. Then by the time they finally fall into the labor market, you see this issue of poor remuneration. At times you see the salary has to be delayed for some time and all, and there is no respect for the job or whatever and all. And whereas if you go to other nations, in fact, the premium they place on this kind of profession that these people actually has got you and whatever and all, is quite motivating and all. So you don't expect every human being want to live a good life. And what's the essence of you going to school? It's for you to have a better life, for you to be useful to yourself and to the society in general. So that is the essence of education. So when this set of educated people, they now found out that Nigeria is not like, as a country, is not that convenient. They are not being motivated to that extent and all. They don't have any choice but to find a living elsewhere, outside the country and all. But I want the government to really see this as a challenge. They should rise up to the occasion and all. You cannot celebrate those who are not educated more than those that are educated. That is what is going on right now. Let's check people that are actually leading us. We have seen that of Governor Obaseki because of the level of education. We saw what he has been able to bring into the system and all. He has brought sanity. He has brought peace and whatever and all. Then look at other subsequent administrations who taught Agberoism, or when you are not educated, so long as you can fight, you can do all that. Let's check the administration then and the current one, and you can see that at least the power of education has actually come into play. And all. So these people, by the time they go to school, the primary school, secondary school, and they follow the university and all, when they finally fall into the labor market, they should be motivated. They should be motivated. So that is my submission on this aspect. The motivation rate or level is so poor, and that's why you see them going out of the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Meka, you want to comment on that?
Yes, let me just add one or two things. It is very clear. I said it before, a blind man cannot lead a blind man.
Yeah.
In this Nigeria, in this country Nigeria, in our nation Nigeria, you don't deny anybody going out to get what he wants. When in the system where you see learned men and personnel being ruled, being guided, being a kind of led by people who don't have knowledge, you can't subject them. That's why you see them moving out of the nation.
The system. And
above all, if you carry a medical doctor put in the Ministry of Works, what do you expect?
In terms of government appointment, that's
yes,
what you're saying.
I've said this before. Like the ministers and all and all and all.
Okay.
And all. And perhaps you think because somebody sponsored your election,
Your campaign.
by your campaign, through acquiring money through arborism, and you said because he has done that, you fix me in a place. You cannot be able to achieve anything good. It's just the truth. That errand is going to pass by. It's a signal to 2023. Nigeria should wake up and say, who is intelligent, who is educated to pioneer the affairs of this nation? Nigeria is too big for you to carry a country to hand over to a dwarf, to hand over to somebody who has nothing to offer.
A mediocre.
A mediocre. And you know, sorry,
Yes.
if I'm here now, look at all of us are sitting down here now. There is no script we are reading.
Okay.
You didn't write, you only told me, look at what we're going to discuss.
Yes.
And I have to crack my brain.
You have to do your research.
Yes, whichever way I can be able to fix up, I fixed up.
Yes.
Where I cannot get to, I will not get to. Yeah. Ben will be able to complement what I am saying,
Okay.
not to compete with me.
Yeah. Because Ben is an educationist.
He's an educationist.
Yeah, it's his field.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
But in this country, Nigeria, where because somebody just say, Abolaho, you are doing well, Abolaho, I will support you with 10,000. You don't know where the 10,000 come out from. And you say, because you supported me, take this office. We won't go far.
Without looking at what competence.
Can you
what,
offer?
Is the issue of competence you are talking about
Yes.
now.
So
competence must be recognized in terms of appointment.
Powerfully. In 2023, we are coming to elect somebody who will be able to rule this country to a higher height, lead this country to a higher height. And we should not push aside the area of education.
Okay.
Anybody that wants to rule this country without education can never take us far.
That's the principal truth.
Is the principal truth. Thank you, sir. It can never take us far. And that is one of the reasons why we are where we are today.
Yeah.
Because most of the leaders today are not educated. Most of the leaders today are not informed. Most of the leaders today are not enlightened. They're just jumping from here, and before you know it, the only thing they do is to argue things that are not relevant. You cannot implement on law that you don't understand.
Yes.
I don't know if you get this.
Yeah.
If you want to implement on any law, you should understand the law. You don't know, are you a lawyer before you interpret a law? Most of them in the National Assembly, in the Senate, that is in the Senate, yes, in the reps, they don't know anything about law. So when they come up and they lobby, that's why lobby coming. When they lobby here, lobby here, lobby here, lobby here, you say, now this one is the highest builder. And before you know it, he said, if you say I, and when you say I, and you didn't say I, they say the I have it.
The eye, no matter the love of God has said the eyes. So if you say nay, you see that the eyes have it,
The eyes have it.
and the gavel is used.
That's all.
They hit the
And
gavel.
it ends there. The only thing that plays there is who lobby highest. If education is in place, you can't talk about lobbying. Because what you acquire position you in a better place.
Okay, thank you very much. You are watching 60 Minutes Nigeria, a current affairs program on your darling station where we dissect national issues. And today, we are actually dissecting the issue of education as a tool for national development. It is the consensus opinions of my guests that education is inevitable. Education is very important, pivotal to the development of any nation. And my guests have also posited that a blind man cannot lead a blind man. So education gets you informed, gets you enlightened, gets you, tutored, makes you a better human being. And, there's what we call philosophy. I know students of philosophy will understand what I'm talking about. There's what we call logic. Now, logic cannot be done if you are not educated. You can't analyze. You can't use that tool of logic to analyze. And that's what also brings to the fore the issue of rational and irrational behavior. You won't understand what I'm talking about if you are not really educated. Rational, irrational behavior. Now, education makes you a rational being. On that note, we'll take a break, but my guests, they are here. We'll be talking more on this very important topic after this break. Okay, nice to have you back. Also, we are glad that you are there, savoring your time with us. Enjoy your 60 minutes with us on the show, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ewosa Agbolao. I have with me Dr. Emeka Ekuga, a clergyman and also an analyst. I also have Ben Osunde. He is an educationist. He's also with us and also a proprietor as well. So, yeah, Ben Osunde.
Yeah.
Now, so it is believed that some persons go through the school and they don't allow the school to go through them.
Yeah.
And so they are not well-groomed individuals at the end of the day. Do you believe in that?
Of course.
Okay.
There are a lot of them.
Okay.
They are just going through school, and school is not actually going through them.
Okay.
And when they speak outside, when they talk outside, you understand that such a person has not actually been groomed in the school system. It's not about parading certificates, parading what you have acquired in school. Your actions, the way you speak, the way you talk, and the way you relate with people, your movement within the society and your contribution and all tells a lot how far you have gone in terms of education and all. And that aspect, I will really, our parents are actually trying anyway. Parents issue has to come here. They're actually trying, they are doing their best. They work day and night to ensure that their children go to proper school and they are educated. But there's one thing that is still kind of lacking in that aspect. I believe that they should do a proper follow-up when the children are at home. They are not doing a real follow-up to their activities in school and all. So when they come back, they just relax. The following day, they take their bag, they go back to school. The parents are not really interested whether they are following up with the academic situation in school and all. So I think parents, they have to actually do much more in that aspect. Most of these people, they don't concentrate while they are in school. Okay. They believe that at the end of 6 years, you are entitled to a WAEC certificate. So their focal point is they want to go and write WAEC. In the primary, the focal point is you have the premises. So it's all about certificate acquisition rather than acquisition of knowledge. And it's that knowledge that will change you, that will make you a better person. Okay. That is your last resort. If every other thing fails, it is what you have upstairs that will actually bail you out. The white man did not say certificate is knowledge, but he said knowledge is what? He didn't say certificate is knowledge, but he said knowledge is what? Is power. Just I don't know. He's like but he said the white man said knowledge is power. Yeah. Not certificate. Say knowledge is certificate. Not certificate is power. Yeah. And the other way around. Yeah. This is certificate is no. He said knowledge is power. So you must acquire knowledge. Whichever way we see it, knowledge is...
So it's not certificate that is power?
No, it's not certificate that is power.
But there was a time that we were emphasizing certificates above every other thing.
Above every other thing,
just acquire the paper certificate.
And the knowledge is no longer important. Yeah. Yes, and such person, by the time they move into the society and they try to join to run the society, they give us a different thing entirely and all. So knowledge should be given priority. So if your child is actually schooling, you should understand what it is to school. When the child gets home, try to evaluate the child. If actually the child is passing through school normally and the education is saying in the child and all. So we parents, we need to do a lot of check and balances to ensure that our children are going to school, and school is actually passing through our children. Okay. So I believe that is the area where parents have to come in. So parents have a lot of role to play in that area.
Yeah, Dr. Emeka, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I want to add one.
Okay.
Then you ask your question.
Okay, go on.
Because I think you have a question.
Yes,
to ask.
I have a question to ask. Yes.
Mr. Ben, I also want to appreciate when you say the parents.
Yeah.
I want to add that the teachers, the lecturers, those in charge of education should also play a vital role.
Yeah.
A situation whereby there are children that are born intelligent. Parents are intelligent.
Okay.
Everybody around them are intelligent, and they are focusing to make sure they acquire this knowledge. And you come to discover that the opportunity is not being given to them. Ask me why. I will tell you that even in Nigeria education today, most of the people in charge of education are the people behind education not striving. How do I mean? If I give you 500,000 today, you prefer somebody who you will not train than somebody who has the mind to be trained. If I make a little child or Mr. Ben in your school, a student score 90%, you change it, give the student 10%, and give who never do well 90%, because the guidance, the parents or whatever, gave you a certain amount of money. You now push in such a one, and there you are not ready to kind of place the person or that child in a position that when it comes out, the money spent will not be regrettable.
Okay, but I think, Dr. Emeka, I think what you're trying to say, if I get you correctly, you're talking about corruption now.
That's all.
That some parents influence the scores of the marks or scores of their awards of their children.
Of their children.
Okay, that's the point you are trying to make.
No, the teachers
and that
now.
should not be done.
He's talking about the teachers now.
Both teachers, the lecturers, and the parents who started it.
Okay.
If I'm a father and I don't give you as a
lecturer,
money for you to pass my child, I don't think you will be able to do that. You focus on who merits.
Okay, I get what you say now.
So
lecturers are being influenced.
Yes, many.
In the tertiary institutions, in universities, polytechnics, some lecturers take money to influence the score of their students. That's the point. And some parents are behind that.
Yeah. Some parents are behind it.
That must be stopped.
Let it be
because
stopped.
If the country must develop, that must be stopped.
That corruption aspect must be stopped.
Yes.
So when you talk about the parents playing a major role, lecturers, teachers should also follow suit.
Okay.
Yes. If not, we won't get it right.
Okay. So the question I was about asking you, I'm happy you are an Igbo man and you are a businessman.
Thank you.
Now, there's a system amongst the Igbos, the eastern part of this country, where they groom youngsters through business lines. You choose a particular line, they hand over you to a man or a woman and say, oh, this person will serve you for 7 years. The person will learn the trade, and at the end, gets freedom, where the master will settle that as, okay, this is what I have for you for all these 7 years. Go and open your own store. Now, that has made the Igbos to become businessmen all over the place. Now, the reason I'm saying that is that some persons felt that Nigeria could have been better off if we didn't place too much emphasis on just certificate acquisition, just education in the classroom, and putting the issue of skill acquisition to the background. You want to comment on that?
Fine. But let me start by saying this from up down.
Okay.
According to your question.
Yes.
Everybody cannot be a professor.
Okay.
I just left mechanic workshop. The possibility of the young man going to what do you call this school? Technical college. He might not be there. But he served
under the master.
Another man. And he acquired the same knowledge as if he went to technical school. Likewise, in the business circle.
Okay.
I am glad you bring in this question here. Majority of traders in the town today has focus. The majority of those who have gone to school without focus. The reason is because when you are being asked to follow this man to be trained into business, all of them are education.
Yes.
You cannot be able to acquire this knowledge, establish a business, able to count money, know the exchange rate, import and export, sales and buy without this knowledge.
Okay.
It all boiled down in that education we are talking about.
Okay.
And when I come to serve you and I'm humble, I should be able to learn from what you know.
Yeah.
Before I served you, you must have acquired knowledge. Knowledge might not only be when you are in the classroom and Dr. Ben, Brother Ben, Mr. Ben is teaching you A for apple. From there you start. That might not be only knowledge. Knowledge can also be, as I'm sitting down here with you, I didn't go to school at the same time with you. I didn't serve at the same time with you. But each time I'm around you, something enters my head. I've acquired knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So in this angle, any Igbo man that wants to do business, and they say 6 years, you are under training. But that does not stop you. A lot of them, I can categorically say, once they are into the system, they also registered in one
School system or
school system
or the other.
or the other. To
I
enable
agree
them,
with
to
you.
enable them write
And read.
and read.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
I can attest to this.
Yeah.
Every average Igbo man in business has, in one word or the other, underly entered into education system. And that is what is helping us.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean if you didn't go to University of Benin, you can go to University of Mission Road.
What do you mean by that now?
Yes, you can
That's
go
the market
to the
system,
market system.
the trade system,
The trade system.
and acquire skills in trading.
And the same knowledge you acquire.
Yes.
And if you look today, sir, with due respect, I have believed in education and I will keep believing in education.
Okay.
Because it's the principal thing.
Yes.
The Bible said, when you want to do anything, you want to get anything good, acquire wisdom. In acquiring wisdom, also acquire what? Understanding. The word understanding there means knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't acquire understanding, have wisdom, it makes no meaning. And when you can only acquire understanding when you are being trained. Are you following me? So what I'm saying here is that if an Igbo man go into trade system, such a one is acquiring knowledge, such a one is acquiring understanding. And when you acquire all these things and bring it up together, and tomorrow you have small money. Because one problem is that our parents then don't have money to train us. But if you're a father, you have money to train your child, will they say, go and learn mechanic? We say, go and study engineering.
But most of our engineers with the certificate now can't repair vehicles, can't build houses, can't, you know.
That's why we say knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. That's because it was in the theory aspect of it. There was no practical in it. You only lobby the master and said, make sure this boy come out first. An Igbo man in trading will sit down and say, I come here for a purpose. A Benin man who is serious to learn whatsoever, whether in the education or whatever, we say, I come here for a purpose. Yeah. So you bring your head down, you'll be taught. The master teaching you how to tie knot is education.
Okay. You've made your point. Now you've emphasized the need for Nigerians to acquire vocational skills.
That's all.
It's not only the theoretical aspect of it.
That's all.
There must be, Nigerians must also imbibe that issue of vocational skills. You must tell us what you can do with your hands.
Yeah.
Because we've seen people who have gone to school, their certificates, no jobs.
Well, formal and informal education.
Yes, formal and informal.
Yeah.
So that's where I come to you now.
Yeah.
You are a school proprietor.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've seen that in the private sector of Nigeria's education sector now, public schools, universities, we see has to strike today, has to strike tomorrow. But private universities, private secondary schools, there's no strike. It's smooth. They tell you, you finish your school, 5 years, it's 5 years. Yeah. So why is that happening in the private sector? It's not happening in the public sector.
Well,
or is it that the private school proprietors have connived to bring down the public schools?
No.
Okay.
The public school is running separately and the private school is also running separately.
Okay.
Then the government school is being run by government, in quotes, those that are serving government.
Yes.
While the private school is being run by an individual. So if you are running your business, there's no man that want to run a business and want the business to collapse. There's no man that want to run a business and want the business to have one or two shortcomings that may lead to the downfall of the business and all. But you know, our belief, our local belief in the current society we are today, that government job, you don't put it in your head, you put it on your shoulder. If it's too heavy, then you drop it or whatever and all. So it's the corrupt nature and the mindset that some of our leaders are having. So it's the managerial skill in the government sector that is actually leading to this poor education. Those that are attending public schools, they are experiencing all this. What's actually leading to this? One, maybe the lecturers or the teachers are not being paid on time, so there will be a strike. The workers are not being paid on time. But the man handling a private school or having his own private school will ensure that before the end of the month, the salaries are always on ground, always ready. Whether the money is big or whether it's little. But before the end of, what satisfies a man, before the end of the month, you get the little you are getting. But when the month ends and you're unable to get your pay as at when due, you have a lot of bills to pay and all. So those that are teaching in government schools, at times they may have issues with government. Government policies at times, government kind of dealings and all may not be comfortable, and that will bring a break in the system of education as far as government school is concerned. But in private school, there is nothing like that. So they run it smoothly. That's if they tell you 5 years you are going to graduate from the university, 5 years you graduate from the university, because the system is already on ground and it's running smoothly. But in government school, there's always an interference. Corruption is there. Diversion of public fund is there. When the fund that is made for education is being diverted, what happens? The people working in that sector will suffer. They will have a lot of issues and all. Okay. So these are issues that we have to see in the government sector that is actually making the government school not to run smoothly, unlike in the private sector. So I believe that is a major reason why the private schools strive more than the government school.
Okay, well, we're going to get the comments of my guests more on this topic, but we'll just take a brief break now, and after this brief break, we'll be commenting more on education as a tool for national development.
Ooh, yeah. Very, very many happy reasons. Wow, 61 good years.
Of what?
Nigeria independence, most populous nation in Africa.
Do you know that is what the enemies want to destroy?
No way, Nigeria will survive.
My people will survive, oh, Nigeria will survive.
My people, no follow destroy our nation, no.
Nigeria for Nigerians.
Oh, yes.
Say no to corruption.
Oh, yes.
Say no to terrorism.
Oh, yes.
Say no to fanaticism.
Oh, yes.
No tribalism.
Oh, yes.
My friend, let's join ITV and radio to rise for our country.
Oh yes, our weatherization is highly bastica. Partnering with us on this platform are
The Prince Builders Estate Developers Limited, A4 Comfort Plaza, ATT, off Adeswa Road, Jari, Benin City. Currently have selling estate. Phase 1, sold out. Phase 2, Obage Community, Saple Road. Phase 3, Obayanto Community, off Airport Road. Phase 4, Imasabo Community, along Saple Road. Phase 5, Oba 18 Community, along Saple Road. Phase 6, Evekwen Community, off Airport Road. Phase 7, Ewu Community, along Ubawa Express Road. Phase 8, Equa Community, along Bini Aoshi Road. Buy 10 plots and get one free. Call number 0915-500-5000.
Pedicab International for hire purchase services for buses, Keke Napep, Yaris, professional driving services for individuals, private organizations, and social ceremonies. 103 Forestry Road off Dunson Road, Benin City. Call lines 0816-1410636.
Cavalry Crown Academy, Ubawa Campus, House 6 and 7, Lucky Street, behind Cornell Police Station, opposite UBTH, Benin City. Airport Road Campus, 140, Airport Road, before Winners Chapel. Ekemon Road Campus, 5A, College Road, by Unibank Campus. Ogida Campus, 327, Upper Silico Road, by Pius Junction. Ubo Campus, 5 Boniski Crescent, off MTM Mass Road, off Ubo Village Road. Website, www.cavalrycrownacademy.com. Call lines, 0806 40 83513.
Get Rich Global Property, now selling in all our estates at Graceland Estate, Irare Community, Benin Abraka Road, Edo State, Edo Light Estate, Ogbeson Community, Siloko Road, Overflowing Grace Estate, Phase 1 and 2 at Ohumu Community, opposite 7-Up before Oluku, Hilltop Estate at Epot.
Okay, it's a delight to have you back. I hope you are enjoying the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. Now, this is the closing aspect of the program because time is not always our friend, and this is very crucial. We are going to start with Ben Osunde again, because this is very, very crucial. Now, you've talked about private schools that is well run, is well managed, and that's the reason we don't get strike in private schools. So public schools, we hope that they also learn from what the private schools are doing. But this aspect, that some persons graduate from Nigerian universities. They have the certificate. I'm a BSc holder. I'm a MSc holder. And they can't defend their certificates. Now, some persons believe that it is because of what they call magic centers. That there's what we call magic centers. We have secondary school leavers. You go to the village, you go to study center, and make sure they pass their school leaving certificate and find their way to university. That they are not well educated, they're well grounded. Do you think that's the reason why Nigerian education system is not really producing, or is producing half-baked graduates?
It's part of it.
Okay.
I will agree with you, it's part of it. But an area I want to actually talk about is our system of education. Are we actually following the right system of education?
Okay.
I think the system of education we have now is 6334.
Yes.
I have been talking about it right from time. The 6334 is no longer working again. A lot of issues have come on board. These children are not going through school properly again any longer.
How do you mean?
All in the name of the child is brilliant. Let the child move. Now, they will not allow the brain to even get matured. Maturity is a function of the level of education you get. The brain has to also be matured and all. Like what I said, I think the last time I met you, I also spoke about it. A child passing through primary school now, initially there was primary 6. We all know about that.
Yes.
Right now, they are now moving from primary 4 now to GSS 1. Now, initially, we used to do those kind of things in those days. That way.
For exceptional students.
Yeah, for exceptional students. But it's no longer the issue of exceptional again now. I think the private sector will take a blame from that.
Okay.
I don't think the government school is a part of that anyway.
Yes.
The private sector will take a large chunk of blame from that, because you see children leaping from primary 4 down to GSS 1, and the parents, they are contributing majorly on this aspect. They'll say, no, consider the age now, and the amount of school fees I'm paying or whatever. No, the child is capable. Nobody repeats any class again now. A child, if you repeat a child in a private school, the next day they will leave that child from your school and take the child to somewhere else or whatever. But we are not bothered anyway. We try to do what is right.
Yes.
What is right is what is right, and what is wrong is wrong. So you move the child from primary 4 and then you leap into GSS 1. Then when the child gets to GSS 2, now they are telling us that GSS 3 is no longer important again, that it's revision class. But me, I know quite well that there are still some topics in GSS 3 that are new. Yes, that you have to still settle down and see, even if it's revision, you ought to have done revision properly to remind you of what you have learned in GSS 1, GSS 2, and so the fresh topic in GSS 3. Okay. Now they will move from GSS 2 and they will leap in SS 1. Now after SS 1, they go to SS 2, SS 3 is no longer important. So you can see that it has been distorted, the system of education, 6334. Before you know what is happening, they find their way inside the university. In university, they lobby in one way or the other, and at the end, the child comes out from the university, is not properly groomed. It's half-baked and all. So all these people are the people that will also find themselves in all those private exam centers. Those special exam centers where they will have to cheat, and at the end they will acquire certificates without the knowledge. Certificate without knowledge. I'm not saying that certificate is not useful, it's not good, because two of them go in pari passu. You must get certificate and you must get knowledge. If you get certificate without knowledge, there's problem. If you get knowledge without certificate in Nigeria, there's still problem in Nigeria. Yes, there's still problem. Yes. But you must acquire the two and all. So the emphasis on the certificate. Nobody is interested in the knowledge again. Nobody is interested in performance any longer. It's all about what do you have, certificate or whatever. No, that is why you see them leaping all in an attempt to acquire that certificate on time. Because right now there are some jobs, before you apply, they'll look at your age first of all. So all those kind of systems need to be scrapped. How can you apply for a banking job and they're telling you must be less than 25 years old, you must be a little bit more than 25 years old, they will not employ you. So that 23 or whatever. I know. This is what is making some parents to be afraid and they want to leave the child on time or whatever. I don't think that system is actually good. It's not helping our society. Okay. I know. So the child needs to be properly groomed. If the child follows the right process from primary to secondary, the junior secondary to the senior secondary, and then the university properly, and the brain also matures along at the same time, then the child will be properly grown. And some of them, you may not, majority of them, you may not see them those special centers any longer. Special centers, the business in special center will die its natural death. So let them pass through the normal educational system and let them be properly grown. That is my submission.
Thank you very much, Ben Osunde.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Emeka, your closing remark on this, because the issue of certificates, Nigerians have been acquiring certificates. We don't see what they do with it. Yeah. They are looking for white-collar jobs. Mm-hmm. And look at where the country is today.
I have said it earlier, a blind man cannot lead a blind man. If you acquire a certificate without knowledge,
yes,
it makes no meaning.
Yeah.
And above all, by the time you lobby to acquire certificate, it's no longer certificate.
It is now what? Paper.
Of course, you said it all. It's no longer certificate. And that's what the problem in the country today is all about.
Okay.
You can go to university, lobby, pay one thing, money or the other, they give you, na paper they give you.
Yeah, it's paper.
It can only be certificate when you make a proper...
When you have the knowledge.
When you have the knowledge.
Yes.
And I also want to quickly say here, parents, Mr. Sunde and co, let's do the right thing. You've just said it here. There will be no need for you to say from JS1, you jump to
SS1.
SS1. And by the time you jump to SS1, there is nothing here. Age, everything joined together. There is nothing upstairs. It won't help us. Okay. So I want to say to Nigerians and to the government at the same time, also do the needful in the education.
The education sector is very important.
Try to put money and whatever it takes in education. Take care of the lecturers. If a lecturer has been taken care of, a teacher has been taken care of, pay when due. Yeah. He or she will not tell you, bring money for special center. You have to work hard to be there. There are genuine ones among them. Okay. And there are those who corruption has eaten up their soul, not their heart. So I want to say to the government, invest in education.
Thank you, Dr. Emeka Ekoga, for that closing remarks. Ben Osunde, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
And my viewer out there, I hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. By God's grace, next week, we'll be here again. The different guests, a different topic, a national one at that, so that we can continue to contribute to the upliftment of our great nation. My name is Ego Sagmola. Bye-bye.